The man taken into custody by immigration agents had just dropped off his child at school this morning. And Alderman Michael Rodriguez tells me that this entire community here in Little Village is on high alert.
It created a lot of fear in the morning, and we were rapidly responding to it.
Video from someone who did not want to be identified shows a man being detained by ICE agents near 32nd and Kedzie. Alderman Michael Rodriguez says this is the first detainment he knows of in Little Village.
The Colombian government just reported that of the 200 people that were deported, none were criminals and 2 were pregnant women. Now we have a detainee whose child was just dropped off at school, right after that fact, being detained.
This comes after President Trump ramps up his mass deportation efforts, demanding at least 1,800 arrests per day across the country. Those like Baltzar Enriquez says he has been handing out information cards in order to help fearful families feel more prepared.
Some families have opted out from sending their kids to school, and that's taking the children's right to an education.
Rodriguez says he is unaware if the man detained had a criminal record, but his rapid response team is ready to support anyone in need.
People are resilient. We want to make sure folks know their rights. That's a blanket of coverage and care that people will desperately need right now.
ICE agents have said that this surge in operations has led to more than 3,000 arrests nationwide. Alderman Michael Rodriguez says families can call the immigration hotline or his office directly for support.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
One of the Venezuelan migrants swept up in immigration raids around Chicago this weekend is about to walk out of federal jail any minute and return to his girlfriend and her parents in the suburbs. Some of these cases have been sealed, but the I-team was in federal court as Edward Martinez Cermeño stepped before a judge and pleaded his case for release. Walking the halls of Chicago's federal court building, Maria and Ruben are still trying to shake off the trauma of Sunday night. Much like these raids across the country, the Venezuelan couple says immigration agents stormed their Schaumburg home. Speaking only in Spanish, Maria told our Michelle Gallardo,
Nos apuntaron a mi esposo.
She said they were pointing their guns at me and my husband. They knocked him to the ground. Federal agents carried out Maria's daughter's boyfriend, 24-year-old Edward Martinez Cermeño. Federal prosecutors say Martinez Cermeño crossed the border illegally in western Texas in 2023 and made his way to the Chicago area. That charge is merely a misdemeanor, not a felony.
Y se fueron, no nos dieron una explicación.
They just left without an explanation. They didn't show us any documents. We were scared. We were all in crisis. Tuesday, his appointed public defender told a judge Martinez Cermeño had served as a police officer in Venezuela. Cook County court records show Chicago police arrested Edward Martinez Cermeño for a felony retail theft in January 2024, and he failed to appear for court, triggering a warrant for his arrest. As Martinez Cermeño stood in federal court Tuesday, White House officials were driving home President Trump's message.
If you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal.
Martinez Cermeño's police record reflects a nonviolent criminal charge, not a conviction. And with a pending court date and asylum hearing set for April 2026, the judge ordered Martinez Cermeño released.
It's not that hard not to break up the law, you know.
A 15-year veteran of Homeland Security, Jason Hauser last served as chief of staff for ICE during the Biden administration.
How are you going to be a cop and then steal shit?
Nonviolent
300,
charge, not
less
a
than 300.
conviction. And with a pending court date and asylum hearing set for April 2026, the judge ordered Martinez Cermeño released immediately.
Immigration Customs Enforcement has the hardest job in law enforcement.
A 15-year veteran of Homeland Security, Jason Hauser last served as chief of staff for ICE during the Biden administration. He says he has concerns about what he's heard and seen in these roundups from his former agency.
When you sort of make it about this quota game, or you make it about, we need to bring as many people into custody, that takes emphasis away from public safety.
Edward Martinez Cermeño will have spent roughly 48 hours in federal custody. The judge ordered him released, saying that ICE did not have the proper judicial warrant to detain him. Martinez Cermeño's local retail theft case is still open, and he hasn't entered a plea to the felony charge.
Watch breaking news.
Begin with this. ICE and the DEA raided a makeshift nightclub early this morning in Adams County that they say is run by members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. A total of 49 people were inside, and immigration officials say 41 were in the country illegally. Authorities seized drugs, weapons, and cash. Fox 31's Kasha Carriage joins us live from the DEA's office in Centennial with the very latest on this investigation. Kasha?
Yeah, Kim, the DEA told me this months-long investigation into this Venezuelan gang TDA started during the Biden administration and carried over into Trump's. But despite this administration change, this operation was just normal business.
Definitely a mouthful
DEA.
if you don't speak Spanish.
I feel like the people in Denver metro area can wake up today and feel like they have a safer city to live in.
Dozens of people in handcuffs, surrounded by law enforcement in this morning's snowy conditions at a makeshift nightclub near Federal and 65th.
This nightclub only sets up on certain weekends, and it's invitation only to members of TDA and their associates. So they send out invite across social media.
The DEA says about 50 people who were in the country illegally were taken into custody, many connected to TDA.
We took people who were selling drugs. There was potential prostitution at the location. There was guns at the location. We know they're involved in much higher level drug trafficking, and a lot of them went to jail today.
DEA is reporting TDA activity across the Denver metro area.
In the beginning, I think a lot of the focus was on the folks in Aurora, especially after the videos that came out on the internet. They've moved around other places to kind of take some of the heat off themselves.
Those in custody could be seen bust away from the location with crime tape, beer bottles, and broken windows left behind.
This is the normal course of business for DEA, right? So this was a DEA operation targeting drug traffickers. In this case, they happen to be illegal aliens, and our ICE friends took care of that part of it. But we're going to continue to go after drug traffickers wherever we find them.
And the DEA says those who were taken into custody will now go through the legal process with ICE. Reporting live in Centennial, Kasha Carriage, Fox 31.
All right, Kasha, thank you.
If those 270 people are gone from these communities, how much safer these communities are if those people are gone.
We're focusing on criminals, public safety threats, national security threat first. And those just make sense. They're the biggest dangers to communities. We'll deal with them first.
Hey, Dr. Phil here, and you're listening to the Dr. Phil Podcast. Tom Homan, the former ICE director and now President Trump's border czar, is all about transparency and the letter of the law. When they decided to target, allow, what was going on, approach, and
with Tom Homan and over all this going on. He is very pro-immigrant. One, criminals, the dangerous people out of the communities and off the street, and three, rescue these missing children. There are over 300 by that. Some of them have been trafficked into get these bad actors off the street. These known
that already have gotten into this country that should have never gotten into this country are taken off the streets. We're talking about murderers, violent people.
Who's got the following?
It was facilitate criminal sex with a child over computer.
Okay.
He's a PDF.
Priority deport, sex offender, dealing with children. So walking the streets of Chicago.
What's your name?
Seda.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? You have a first and last name.
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged with?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
You're
No,
on
I seen
TV.
Dr. Phil, on TV.
Who doesn't know
Yeah.
Dr. Phil? It's what they put on the nail salon in the background.
This is an example of sanctuary cities, right?
With
We
the
got an
view.
illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with a sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not
Oh
really?
my God. Bruh, not really? You're
Have
not
never
helping.
been deported?
Nope.
Huh.
Damn, that's crazy.
Let's take him in and process him, lock him up.
Got it, sir. All right. Is it transport vehicle? Working on it. Okay.
As we were riding around between stops, we listened to some of the narrative about you doing these sweeps and going into businesses and taking people out indiscriminately.
They don't use those terms by accident. When they talk about sweeps and raids, going to people's homes, schools, even the one lady said going to hospitals. You know, it's a false narrative. That's what they did during the Trump administration. They pushed that false narrative and tried to win the support of American people against what President Trump's doing. But that's why it's imperative we control the narrative. We have folks like you and your show and your network out here showing the people the truth. They can talk. What are you going to show? I mean, that's right. Dr. Phil's going to show them exactly how we do this. So I'm glad you're here. It's going to be very meaningful to the men and women out here who are constantly being slandered by the left media, showing them exactly the professionalism of these men and women out here putting it on the line.
Yeah. After the very first takedown, we turned around and quickly headed back to the command center. And what I saw there was nothing short of mind-boggling. These agents were using some serious high-tech gadgetry to track down these criminal illegal aliens. I have to say, what I've seen is a far cry from what you may be hearing on the news. And that's why I wanted to go and see this from the inside out. And I can tell you I was not restricted in any way. I was able to walk into any meeting. We were able to listen in on any conversations. I was not aware of any secret meetings going on or anything that I was directed or shuffled away from. I've been reporting back to our team at Merit TV to set the record straight. $36 trillion. That is the U.S. debt, and it gets deeper and deeper by the day. Our debt has never been higher, nor have the stakes. The government is looking to slash the federal budget by $2 trillion, and no one knows what that will mean for your job, savings, and future. I've seen a lot in my time, and there's one thing I know for sure. You need to prepare before it's too late. I trust Preserve Gold to help protect my wealth, and I strongly urge you to do the same. They are the only precious metals firm I trust and recommend to my family, friends, and audience. Get on there because so
locations. That could have been one location.
Yeah.
It could have been just at the jail.
Yeah, just at the jail.
Just at the jail. We wouldn't have to impact 300 communities at that moment.
You know, and Chris, when we were riding around today, we were listening. Tom and I were listening in the car to cable news networks talking about how this was just kind of a random sweep, that they were going to schools, they were going into businesses. And I'm here on investigative work done to go in and get an individual.
What I'd like to ask you about, Dr. Phil, is just this idea of politics versus public safety. And what I mean by that is January 15th, the city council in Chicago, 11 aldermen, which is what they call their city council members there, 11 aldermen said, yes, our local police department should be working with their counterparts at the federal level. Yes, they should. But overwhelmingly, 39 voted no. What message does that send to you, Dr. Phil?
Well, straight up, are you going into schools and arresting children at schools?
No.
Or is anything like that happening?
No, sir.
Are you going into businesses and sweeping through
That's
there
not what it
and
says in
seeing
the
where they're
news.
from?
We go into businesses for a criminal enforcement operation, but again, sweeps don't occur anywhere.
The sweeps are not occurring. You're just not going in like seining for fish in a pond and just picking up. You're going targeted. If a criminal is working in a business and you have to pick them up there, you're going in for that target.
Absolutely.
And what's happening to me, it seems that these politicians are creating what they fear the most, and that is forcing ICE agents into the community where they pick up the target and wind up picking up collaterals that may be around them, as opposed to going to the jail where they just get the target and leave.
That's the game they want to play, and so, game on. We're going to do it. I mean, it's all about public safety. We're going to take that public safety threat off the street by any means necessary. If we can't get in the jail, then we'll go in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and Chris, look, we've got two very high-risk apprehensions that are going down within minutes. I can tell you that these are bad actors that are doing things that are immediate, instant danger to anyone around them. I'm not going to say what they are right now, because even describing it could be tipping off who we're talking about. And if they happen to be watching this, or somebody they know is watching this, could pick up the phone and call them and put agents' lives in more danger than they already are.
That's right.
That's why we're being very careful. That's why we're asking all of you in the control room to process these videos and blur the faces of the brave men and women that are doing what they're doing, because we don't want them harassed and targeted after the fact. And that has and does happen. So we're being very careful to protect everybody out there.
There's 270 current targets. Every one of them are dangerous criminals. Every one of them have a violent rap sheets, and they're being targeted. Think about it. If those 270 people are gone from these communities, how much safer these communities are if those people are gone. Who in their right mind could argue with that? So they can't. So what they have to do is create a false narrative that you're just in here sweeping people out off the streets that aren't committing crimes. Of course, there's a crime of being here illegally, but you're doing worst first.
Worst first. We're focusing on criminals, public safety threats, national security threat first. And that just makes sense. They're the biggest danger to the communities. We'll deal with them first.
All right, we're making another arrest right now. This is illegal alien that's been arrested for DUI with a fatality.
Now, this guy is from where?
India.
India. Here illegally?
I ran
Here illegally right now.
into him.
He's convicted of DUI with
It
fatality.
catches him off guard because they're
So the
in
question
first
is, why is he
person
still
and
here?
we're in third person.
It's so frustrating. It's unbelievable. And they go to the door and they're
Hijo
on
de
the other
su
side and they
madre.
know it, and they don't open the door because they've been told, don't open the door.
We gotta get these laws fixed so these guys can work.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be able to do this.
And look at all the people that it takes to do it. Now, nationwide on Sunday, ICE reports making 956 arrests, not just on that day. And
Oh
in
my God, did I get
Chicago,
away?
they have targeted close to 300 of these violent criminals that I think anybody would agree you don't want in your community. These agents are laser focused on taking into custody sex traffickers, gang members, or other hardened criminal illegal aliens who've been hiding in plain sight. I wanted to see this for myself so I could report it as factually and with firsthand knowledge as possible.
Dr. Phil, you know, one of the things that I think we've hit on, and I think we should kind of dive in more, is that this isn't willy-nilly, right? Hundreds of hours have gone into the planning, the research, the creating files, knowing the people's names and where they live. And I think that it's lost, it's overlooked, or purposefully it's being left out of a lot of reporting.
Well, you know, this idea that they're just going in and sweeping neighborhoods
Shit.
it's just
Maybe
absurd.
after me right now. Oh, son of a
Because
bitch.
that would be reckless. It would be counterproductive. It would put agents' lives in danger. It would put the targets in danger, and it would put the collaterals around them in danger, people that don't have anything to do with it in danger. That's not how this is going down. I don't know what has people so energized in talking about that, and I wouldn't keep being so dogmatically repetitive about this if I wasn't here and talking to ATF and DEA and HSI, which is Homeland Security Investigative, and the U.S. Marshal Service, FBI. I've talked to each of these government agencies today, and every one of them say the same thing, is we're professionals. We're trained in these techniques. We're trained in how to do investigations. We're trained in how to make arrests in proper ways. And they're just as concerned about the safety of the people they're arresting as they are all the people around them and their own agents. They're not going in there trying to just kick down doors like some cowboys and put people's lives at risk. That is not at all the attitude of these people.
Dr. Phil, these were two very dangerous, high-level targets today with Tom Homan. Were there other groups around Chicago that went out, other ICE agents that went out? And if there were, at the same time, how many?
Well, there were a lot of, yes, there were different teams today. People were broken up into different teams into different parts of Chicago. And I think there were well over 100 agents, and some of the teams were as small as 5 or 6. Some of them were 10 or 12. So, but we were in one part of the city documenting this, and then there were other teams that went out to different parts of the city. So I think they covered a lot of Chicago. And I think I know about multiple teams, and they reported back in, and there was a command center where everybody congregated.
We watched the first takedown that you were a part of was a 42-year-old Thailand national, Seda Soma. We're looking at his picture here on the screen right now, and his order of removal was November 3rd of 2009. Right? You know, I know, our viewers know, it's 2025, and this guy is heading back now, but he seemed almost cavalier about it, and when you were talking to him, he's been in this country long enough to know who you were.
Yeah, really proud of that fact, but I hope that's not my typical audience, but you know, look, the truth is, this is a good example. We know when it comes to sexual predators that they have multiple victims before they're arrested, detained, and taken off the streets and imprisoned. They have multiple victims. Sometimes it's double digits. It can be 25, it can be 40. It depends on how old they are, how many targets they're exposed to. And so this person, we know, has been on the streets for over a decade, since he was first detained. So, you know, how many victims has he had in the United States where he doesn't even have the right to be, because nobody raised their hand and let ICE know
He's close. I'm not gonna make
that
it.
he was in detention so they could meet him.
Oh my God, I'm gonna make it.
And take him out of the United States when they
I might have been
could
the
have
only
met
one.
him at the curb and put him right in the process and deported him legally and safely at the time. Instead, he's been on the streets.
One of the things that we should highlight is, you know, you are the one who connected Tom Homan and Mayor Eric Adams in New York City, right? You told us about it live here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. You're sitting at the airport and you're taxiing away, and you said, whoa, wait, stop, pull the plane over, and let me get these two on the phone. What does it take to get a governor like J.B. Pritzker to bury the hatchet, move past partisan politics, and take up the idea of
I think the volume might have been too high.
Right? Because I think you're right. If people would just take the time to listen, and fully understand, oh, wait a minute, this is a tactical, very precise approach to what they're doing.
There was
oh,
an
wait,
echo.
they are going after people I don't want on the street.
I had it on too
the
loud.
problem
My bad,
is
everybody.
It's getting both people to the table, and only you, sir, have been able to do it.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of people can do that, and I've
Damn,
been
they
fortunate
do
enough
him
to do it in a
dirty.
few
They
situations,
really
but look, I
setting
don't
him as
have
an
the privilege
example.
of knowing Governor Pritzker, but I can tell you this: everything I do know about him is I believe he is a good man. I believe he has spent a lot of his life in public service, and you don't do that to hit the radar screen. Why would people run away from that kind of welcome and that kind of support? So with that many people dodging that kind of welcome committee, where did they go and what is their agenda? I would want to know that. So we certainly know that there are criminal elements inside the United States, and I think what ICE is wanting to do at this point is take the worst first and get them out of the communities to make them safer. And if there's something wrong with that, I'm all ears. I want somebody to tell me. I am very pro-immigration. I definitely think we need a good, strong immigration policy in this country. We need immigrants to make this country work. We're a country of immigrants. And we need the population, and I just think it should be done in the right way. Tom Homan and his team were certainly not out there on some wild goose chase. They were tracking down criminal, illegal aliens who've been convicted of some truly heinous crimes. What I saw was a targeted operation going after specific individuals who've broken our laws in serious ways. And we need to face the facts, even if that makes us uncomfortable. Burying our heads in the sand isn't going to solve anything. You can watch more of my time with Ms.
That's brutal. I could have sworn I heard they were going into schools. No ICE raids in schools, according to the White House. For immigration enforcement to search or enter a private area within a formally protected area, the Fourth Amendment requires a valid judicial warrant assigned by a federal judge unless staff in those areas consent to the search, according to the National Immigration Law Center. Someone sent me a link earlier. Let's see if I can find it. This one. What's this? Mandate for leadership, the conservative promise. Project 2025, Presidential Transition Project. So what do I want to look? What do I want to look at for immigration? It's gonna be either Homeland Security, or yeah, it's going to be Homeland Security, I think. 133. Oh, Department of, wait, so what, wait, this might just be a proposal. I don't think so. Okay, so according to Ken Cuccinelli, Department of Homeland Security, our primary recommendation is that the president pursue legislation to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. After 20 years, it has not gelled into one DHS. Yet its various components, different missions have outweighed its decades-long attempt to function as one department, rendering the whole disjointed rather than cohesive. Breaking up the department along its mission lines would facilitate mission focus and provide opportunities to reduce overhead and achieve more limited government. In lieu of a status quo DHS, we recommend that U.S. Customs and Border Protection be combined with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Oh. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Oh, wait, everything here? Oh, U.S. Customs and Border Protection be combined with the following: Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the Department of Health and Human Services. I don't know about that. Office of Refugee Resettlement and the Department of Justice. Executive Office for Immigration Review and Office of Immigration Litigation into a standalone border and immigration agency at the cabinet level. More than 100,000 employees, making it the third largest department measured by manpower. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency be moved to the Department of Transportation. Wow, okay. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, be moved to the Department of the Interior, or if combined with CISA, Department of Transportation, or Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. U.S. Coast Guard be moved to DOJ, Department of Justice, and in time of full-scale war threatening the homeland, to the Department of Defense. Alternatively, Coast Guard should be moved to DOD for all purposes. Where is it now? As opposed to what? Secret Service be divided in two, with the protective element moved to DOJ and the financial enforcement element moved to the Department of Treasury. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, be privatized. Why? Science and Technology Directorate be moved to DOD, and the Office of Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction be moved to the FBI instead of the CIA? Wow. All of the remaining supporting components could be dismantled because their functions already exist in the moving components as well as the receiving departments. Cutting these costs could save the American taxpayers significant sums. Unless and until this dismantling recommendation is pursued and achieved, however, DHS will statutorily continue to exist, and it needs many reforms. Accordingly, we now turn to recommended changes in DHS. That is, I'm not going to read all that. Well, maybe I will. It's a lot. What's this? Clear, more durable, and political-only line of succession for What? For the Office of the Secretary. If you want to read this yourself at your own pace, here it is. Let me put it in the chat. What up, Gunnar? Sorry, I keep forgetting how to pronounce your name. Because it's looks like Gunnar instead of Gunnar. So the answer is kind of, sort of. Can ICE come into schools? They need warrants. If ICE agents enter formally protected through a warrant or consent, they may make arrest if they have a valid administrative warrant for that person, or if they have probable cause to believe that the person is removable from the United States. If the person does not have current lawful status or engaged in conduct such as involvement in the criminal legal system, that gives ICE the authority to begin deportation proceedings against them. Spoopy. Well, don't break the law. Amazing.
Welcome to the Father's Day. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you all so much for being with me. Don't forget to support our work. Continue to support it by going to thefathersday.tv and locals.com in the description. I have with me today Adam. What's Adam's name?
Friedland.
Oh, I have with me Adam Friedland. He is a stand-up comedian and the host of the Adam Friedland Show.
Friedland. Yeah, Friedland. Yeah.
Friedland
Show. Yeah.
Welcome
yeah.
to the show.
You murdered that intro, Jesse.
In a good way or
that
bad
was
way.
a little bit of a power
These
play, right?
comedians use
Adam
murdered and
You came in, you were like, I don't even know this guy's name.
No, I've done so many shows today.
How many shows have you done today?
I did 3 hours of radio this morning from 6 to 9. And then you're the third hour of the Father's Day taping today.
Oh my God, you're exhausted. And the fires are happening around the building.
The fires burn everything.
You're going to podcast through the apocalypse.
Yes. Amazing, huh?
All right.
But I have with me
Amazing
Adam
guy.
Friedlander. Stand-up
Who
comedian
set this
and
up?
the host
How am
of
I
the
here
Adam
right now?
Friedland Show. What?
Who set this up?
My producer.
And what, he thought me? He was like, Jesse's gonna love talking to just the most obnoxious guy in history. He's gonna love talking to this guy.
And I'm already enjoying it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having a nice time. We had a nice talk before this started.
Absolutely.
I was told before you came into the room that I had to sign the consent form because you don't trust me.
Right. You know how the Jews are, right?
What are you doing, Jew? You're starting with this Jew?
You know, we gave you the form to sign weeks ago, and you're like, oh, okay.
I have podcasted for 9 years. I've done hundreds of podcasts.
Right.
Different ones. Never done this.
Right.
You have a professional outfit. A real professional outfit.
You know why you didn't do it?
I
Because
admire
you didn't
that.
sign them.
You're saying that a Jew doesn't want to sign a legal... You're the one with a legal form for your podcast. You're Moses over here. You're coming down from Mount Sinai with your consent forms.
That's right. Amazing.
I'm the guy I'm the live and let live Christian who's like, what the heck are these, what this paperwork all about? I'm giving you a Sermon on the Mount.
What a mess.
How are you? What
let
a
me
mess.
ask, you were a lawyer before you became a comedian, right?
No, I got into law school. Yeah.
And how come all the Jews are lawyers and doctors? Why don't they be like?
What do you mean, all the Jews? Because their parents yelled at them to get good grades. What do you mean?
So, but their parents didn't yell at them, hey, one day you could become a trash picker upper or.
What parent is telling their kid to be a trash picker upper?
They make good money being a trash picker upper.
Do you think there's a single parent that's like, you should be a garbage guy?
Oh, yeah.
To a child? No, you say you get a good job or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good job.
It's not a crazy thing to be like, you should get a stable work.
Well,
I don't think it's a Jewish thing either.
Oh, yeah.
I think our parents are just annoying enough to like be like, all right, fine, just stop it, just shut. No, I'm just kidding.
All of my Jewish friends are either lawyers, doctors.
Dershowitz.
They own
Dr.
the hospitals.
Dr.
Hospital owner.
Right.
People own a hospital?
The Jewish people do, not normal people.
So you think that it should be socialized medicine? You're like a Bernie guy.
No way. I am not.
I think that anyone should go to the doctor.
You think that they should?
I think you should go to the doctor. It shouldn't be. Yeah. If you have cancer, you should go to the doctor. Like, you shouldn't lose all your money if you have cancer. Sure.
But also,
call me a live and let a live and let live Christian. You're the one that wants all these Jewish hospital owners to stay in business.
That's right. So tell me, how did you go from being a lawyer?
Mordecai Peterson. What?
How did you go from being a lawyer to a comedian?
I wasn't a lawyer. I got into law school, but I didn't go.
Oh, why not?
I was too lazy. Probably wouldn't have been that good at lawyer. I think I thought lawyer was like from movies. I thought it was like you had to give a good speech and stuff. Like you had to be like, and my client. I thought it was all like inspirational speeches. I thought I remember as a kid, I thought Johnny Cochran. I remember during OJ, I was like, that guy's giving good speeches. Yeah. He's like rhyming things and stuff. But
he looked like he from The Sopranos.
Like you have to just do spreadsheets.
I know who you're thinking of.
And boring stuff.
The daughter's boyfriend. The one that Vito hits on. Flynn. He looks like Flynn. Vito. Flynn? Isn't it Flynn?
Sound like a racehorse pissing in there.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, I never asked you what your last name is.
It's Detrolio.
Finn Detrolio, my arch nemesis. You enjoying yourself here?
It's all right.
Oh, I was thinking the psychiatrist's son. I don't think I know who you're talking about. I didn't know she had a son. The therapist?
Yeah, so I told my parents I wanted to be a clown, and they were like, "You're a moron. You're one of the dumbest guys ever." Like, what? Can you imagine coming out of the closet as a clown to your parents? In retrospect, it was one of the most insane things I ever put them through.
And were they disappointed? Were they disappointed in you?
I mean, would you be if your son was like, "Mommy, I'm a clown," like, or "Daddy, God put me here to be a clown"? No, you wouldn't be. But no one's like, "Oh, you should go be a nightclub comedian" to your kid. You should have like a nice job, stable job, and like I think like a parent doesn't want their kids to struggle financially.
They do not.
Probably.
Why not?
Because I think it's very difficult when you're struggling financially.
But it builds character. It makes you a better person. It causes you to become more independent when you have to make it on your own.
Well, making it on your own is not. I mean, that's making it. I'm saying when you're like stressed out about money constantly, it's hard, right? Isn't it?
It's hard for you, but it's good for you.
I don't think it's not. It doesn't feel good, right?
Right, but that doesn't mean it's not good for you. If it's not about how you feel.
I had no money and I struggled, and then I had money and I don't want to ever again be struggle. I think it's terrible.
What's important to you?
Me?
Yeah.
Ah!
I don't know.
Oh, I almost missed that.
What's important to me? That's a big question. Reverend.
I am
feel like I'm
super
doing
rusty at this
confession right
game.
now.
You can call me Jesse.
No, I want to respect you as a ecclesiastical.
My name is Jesse, not Reverend. A Reverend just tell you what type of work you do, but that's not who
Dr.
you are.
The Dr. Reverend Emeritus Professor
Dr.
Jesse.
Reverend Bishop Pope
Bishop.
Jesse.
The good Bishop. No.
What's important
I
to
don't know.
you?
I guess family. Yeah, the people I know.
And
wow, I've never been so sincere in public like this. I'm normally a comedian who peddles in smut. I guess that's the right answer too. Yeah, I guess family. The people you care about.
I almost got away.
And
like
why
your
is
friends.
family so important to you?
Those are your guys.
Meaning what?
I can't vault over
You
that.
don't choose them, but they're your guys. They're your guys for life.
But most families don't get along with one another.
That's fine.
But they're still important.
They're still your guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Do you have your
that
own?
Doesn't mean they're not your guys.
Are you married
What?
with children?
I mean, I have a girlfriend.
But you're not married.
No. I want to have kids. Yeah, I want a family of my own.
And why?
I don't know. I think it's like the point of, it's something I think I'd be a good parent. My mother passed away 4 years ago, and it made a big impression. That experience made a big impression on me.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
And
seeing my family come together, seeing members of our family that drove us, that were pains in the ass for years, we still wanted our guys there. Even if there were people that were like our friends,
right,
that wanted to like be there for us, it didn't feel as right as like just a relative. Wow, Jesse, we're really getting into it right now.
And
I learned to appreciate family in a way that I'd never seen before and experienced before. And it kind of made me realize what matters at the end of the day.
And so that caused you to want to start your own family?
No, I wanted to before that, but I saw the meaning of family in action at the time.
Right.
And it gave me a kind of an answer as to like what at the end of the day what matters while you're here. Wow, Jesse, you're amazing.
What the? And who were you closest to, your mother or your father, growing up?
Closest to, she was like my twin. I loved her, but my dad. I mean, it was in a different way. I was close to them. Yeah, I'm super close to my dad.
You are.
Yeah.
But but in growing up, you were closer to your mother?
It's a different relationship. It's like your mom and her son, and then a dad, like, like I'd watch like sports with my dad, and like we'd watch like like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like action movies where the guy's like neck gets snapped. And like, we watch like a lot of that kind of stuff.
Right.
That was like, and he would be like, tell me when I'm being a dummy. And then my mom was very nurturing. So it's not like closer. It's just like different
I understand.
You know, it's
And so
a
when your
love from
mother,
a father and love from a
Ah,
mother.
I thought
when
I'd
your
be able to
mother
hide.
would irritate you, would you tell your dad to help you deal with her? How did you deal?
No,
You would not tell your father to help you deal with your mother?
no,
How did
no
you
way.
deal with her when she would irritate you?
And she didn't really ever. She was the best.
So your mother was
She was a great lady.
really, and
She
so
never
she
really
never irritated you at all growing up.
No,
Really?
not at all. No. I had like she wasn't like a stereotypical Jewish mother. She wasn't like you're killing me, like you wish I was dead. Kind of Trump acts like a lot of my friends' Jewish mothers, where he's like, no one respects me. You guys, no one appreciates me. Very unfair. But like a lot of my friends' moms used to act like that.
Right.
But my mom was just lovely. Yeah. She irritated. I can't even fathom her irritating me. I would be a little schmuck to her. I'd be a little like I was like a know-it-all, like whatever.
And so would
But
your
her,
father irritate you at times?
yeah, and like a male, like I know better than you. You know better than me. But it's like it's like a testosterone thing more.
And so
it made me
would,
tougher.
How would you deal with that when your father would irritate you?
I got tough. He made me strong. Wow, Jesse, I've never talked about any of this stuff. Is this what the show is about?
And why have you talked about it before?
You're not answering that question right now.
What?
Is this what the show is about? It's
Yo.
like I think these are great questions.
Yeah, I like having real conversation with people.
It's like an investigation into who the guy is. I appreciate
learned a lot about myself and others when we have a real.
I'm used to like a podcast where I'm like doing like dumb crap. This is like a human. You're like engaging on a human level. After you dropped all that, like black people would be driving like this and Jewish people would be driving like that. You were like you're just talking to another fellow.
Amazing.
Amazing. Go ahead. Sorry, not to cut you off.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I want to ask, so when your father would irritate you, how would you deal with that?
I'd argue back.
Good. And so would you tell your mother to help you deal with your father?
No, that's snitching. I'm not going to fuck with their marriage. She should support him.
Amazing. Right. Absolutely.
It would make my dad feel crap if mom is like conspiring with me. I'm not gonna. I don't know. That's not my business.
Right on, man. And so, how did you become angry?
Honestly, I would navigate things by being funny a lot of the times.
Right.
Like I make a joke, but that was like to get out. That was a little rascal and try and get out of trouble.
Right on. So
that's why I got in. That's why I got funny.
How did you become angry?
Why am I angry?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. How did you become angry?
I don't know. I wouldn't conceive of myself as angry.
Do you have do you have anger?
I'm trying to think of it. I don't know. Like when a girl like says like you say like is everything okay and they're like I'm fine, right? And then you're like, are you sure?
Right.
And then like 4 days later, they're like, this is the thing I was mad about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't you fucking tell me 4 days ago?
Yeah.
But that's not anger. It's just like girls, you try to understand them, but they're like a different species.
Right.
But like your whole life, we're just going to try as hard as we can to understand them.
And so do you get angry at times?
But we never fully will. But I don't get angry about that. I think sometimes I'm like, just fucking tell me 4 days ago. Like, but for a guy that makes sense. For a girl, it doesn't make sense.
And so, do you get angry at times?
Do I get angry? Not really. I don't yell. No, not really.
So
I try to be nice to people that are around me and in my life, for sure.
And so you never get angry.
No, I've gotten angry. Sure, of course.
So you do get angry at times.
I don't know. I can't tell you. Jeez Louise. I can't tell you the specific. What is so interesting about this to anyone? I'm just a Jewish podcaster, a Jewish smut merchant. No, you think people, do I get angry?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. It seems like a kind of like it's weak a little bit. It's kind of a little bit of a weakness to be
Well,
angry. No?
anger is a weakness.
To lose your cool is weak.
It is 100%.
I'm kind of an alpha apex predator, kind of David Goggins style man. Personally, I'm a Andrew Tate style guy.
Amazing. And so, so you lived in Israel for a year, I read.
After high school, I did a year in Israel. Yeah.
And how was that, living in Israel? I've gone to Israel, by the way, and I loved Israel. I couldn't believe
Did you like it?
I loved it.
It was all right. I mean, it was fun. It was like
I totally loved it. To the point.
Where'd you go?
To the point that we sent a second group of people over to Israel because it was so nice.
From your church?
I'm sorry?
From your church?
Yeah.
Do you have a building, like a church, like that you every Sunday you do a service and stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
How many people are in your community?
I don't know, a whole bunch of them.
Like how many people show up on Sunday?
It all depends. Because we
What-
have
what are
people
your,
not
like,
only
hot- what are your hot months?
We have people not only that come from that lives right around. We have people come every Sunday from around the world. So it all depends.
Because you're a celeb. You're like a celeb reverend.
I don't think of that way. But let me ask. What
But
was
you
it
access
like,
an audience around the world.
What was it like
Oh,
living
sorry.
in Israel for a year?
I don't know. I did like a gap year. I worked on an ambulance when I was there. I took classes. I got like college credit, and yeah, I don't know. I lived there, and then as like a gap year before college.
And was the war happening at the time when you were living there between?
No. No.
Yeah. What?
No, that was like it was after the disengagement from Gaza, when Ariel Sharon pulled out of Gaza, and then built the fence around it.
Right. So the war wasn't going on at the time. What do you think about the war between Israel and the Palestinian or Palestine?
Does anyone think war is good?
You're right, it's not. But what should happen? How should at this point?
What should happen? I think war is probably bad, right?
War is awful. I agree.
Yeah.
So
no one's like, hell yeah, war. I mean, like, it's it's a bad thing that people do.
So what should
right?
they do to end that right now?
I mean, like, they live there. They pay taxes and stuff. They should probably figure it out. It's kind of obnoxious the way people like yell at each other about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I fall victim to it. What does that do for like Israelis or Palestinians, right?
That's right, man. I totally
It kind of all
agree.
becomes about us, right? And we just live here, right?
So
people are kind of like projecting themselves onto like a tragic conflict, right? And it's like, oh, this is my thing, like either Zionist or pro Palestine, but it's like, what are you fucking doing for them? Sorry to say the F word.
No, that's fine.
Even in like a Jewish family, like my dad and I kind of don't see eye to eye all the time. But what am I going to do? Like ruin Thanksgiving? Like I just want to chill with them. You know, it doesn't, and also it doesn't do anything for them folks over there.
Absolutely,
you know?
man.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah, my thing these days is to know less.
So,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
What was it like? You reminded me of something that happened recently in our country and around. There was the Palestinian people going around to the university here in this country, and they were carrying the Palestinian flag, and they were chanting, "Death to Israel, death to America." That I couldn't believe that. Well, you there
Why?
in New York, you were right in the midst of it. What was that
I mean,
like
people
for
in
you?
Vietnam were saying that too about death to America, right?
What was it
Aren't
like?
college kids protest typically, like wars.
But not
That-
on-
like,
but
that's a
they
thing
shouldn't
that's
be-
happened a million times, right?
But they shouldn't be on
I'm not
our
saying it's
land
good or
saying-
bad, but I'm saying it's not a new thing, right?
Right. What was it like hearing them say on our land, they in our country chanting death to America?
I mean, I mean, America's the sickest country. I mean, we make like we have like dunking, NBA, hip hop. Like we make Goodfellas. We've done some of the best stuff here in America.
Right.
But who cares? It's just some kid saying some crap. What are you gonna be like? Oh, I'm so afraid. It's a kid, some fucking 90-pound kid. That's
know,
not like
but
really an issue. I think it is a little bit. That's a little bit like cowardly to be like I'm terrified of like an an 18-year-old kid. I mean, like there are other things I have to worry about in life. It's not I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's just like what? Like a kid at college is going to protest a war. It's not a new thing, right, Jesse?
But sometimes
you were protesting Nam.
But
you were lighting that damn flag on fire back in the day.
But
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you.
Yeah,
I know.
But it concerned me because they have so much anger toward America and Israel.
What the hell are they going to do? Like an 18-year-old girl that's studying them studies at Columbia? What is she going to do?
But what you
What is
might
she
not,
gonna, she's actually going to kill America? You think?
Might not.
You think America is going to? She's saying death to America. You think that an 18-year-old girl studying genders or whatever is gonna kill like everyone in? You think she can do death to America?
No.
It's kind of a little bit pussy to be like, I'm afraid of that.
Right, but what you might not understand.
Don't you think?
But listen, what you
but
may
saying
not,
you're afraid of that is a little bit like hysterical.
But what you may not understand is that
a lot of people say death to America.
Adam, she might not do it, but the people who have convinced her to go out and protest and carry on, they can do it. Because
America
the real enemy
gave
would be the
$25
people
billion.
who have them out there doing the protest. They don't even know why they're out there. But the people who convince them to do it are the ones that I'm concerned about.
Who are the people? Soros and stuff?
The Allah Abba people.
Allah Waba?
That's what I heard too.
What is that? I think it's a little bit just like come on, bro.
Was he trying to do Allahu Akbar?
We gave money to the war, so they're protesting it. I mean, like, that's plausible, right? They gave $25 billion, so they're saying they're protesting at their college. We shouldn't give $25 billion, I guess.
I don't
but like,
mind
what is
them.
it? What is a kid yapping at a school? Like, what is it? Come on.
Again, it wasn't that.
You got to be Christian about this, brother.
Listen,
like it's just a kid.
Adam,
it's a kid.
Adam, it wasn't the kids that I was concerned about. It was the people who
I think Adam
brainwashed
is a lady.
and the kids to go out there and do it. Those are the
That's
ones
what you're talking about, ladies' emotions.
You think Alu Akbar sent a 90-pound girl to Columbia to do a protest?
His representative did.
Who's Alu Akbar? What are you talking about? It's a kid at a college.
You know how when they put on the belt with the bombs on them? And just before
a suicide bomber,
and just before they get ready to go off, they say Allahu Abba.
So you think this kid at school got a call?
He doesn't even know how to say it.
Akbar?
No, but the people who put her out there
Jesse,
got the call.
You're not even thinking. You're laughing right now.
Listen,
fuck, I got distracted.
Do you hear me? I'm telling you, it wasn't the kids because they didn't even know why they were out there.
There's enough problems in the world for us to be like, oh. Can I tell you this? To be Jewish in America for 37 years, I'm 37, it's the best it's ever been in 1,600 years.
And why do you say that?
Because I'm not getting like fucking, like Jewish people have been killed and stuff like throughout history.
Right.
In America, it's been sick. I get to be a white guy. Do you know how sick it is to be a white guy?
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's hard on
Son of a.
people. They're blamed for everything, and they're not responsible for anything.
Oh, it's been awesome being a white guy, bro. It's been phenomenal. I don't want to lose it.
So listen, because
maybe
of time,
these 80, maybe these girls, maybe these 18-year-old girls are going to take White away from me. Then we got a problem.
Amazing. Well,
if they take that, then
I'll get it.
That's what I'm afraid of.
What have you learned about yourself that you didn't know since being a comedian and doing your show?
From the show?
Yeah. What have you learned about yourself that you did not know?
I just kind of in the way I think what you said earlier is I feel the same way. It's like more instead of like making it about politics is kind of like it's just kind of lame at this point. What people are gonna like
sometimes
yap
running
away
right
about
into
it.
them.
It's more interesting
works.
to just get to know a guy.
Not today.
Right? And so if I have a guest, like I just want to know what kind of guy it is. And then you humanize someone and you have a real conversation with a person.
Right.
You don't exploit a person and like you're not like because it's people like people are so angry these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's because they're lonely. Really, that's more concerning to me than a kid. At least the kid that's going out with saying "Death to America" is going outside. Don't you think? At least they're going outside.
In some
because
cases,
a lot of these people are just isolated and alone. That's more of a problem in my mind. If you're going out and protesting and saying "Death to America," you're participating in a community, right?
They were saying death to Israel and America. And my concern is that we allow
First Amendment, baby.
allow these people
First
to come
Amendment,
in.
baby. Free speech, baby.
Not for these people.
Why?
Because we allow them to come into our country. It's like me
I believe
inviting
in the
someone into my
Constitution,
home.
my friend.
It's like me inviting a family member to my home and they'll shout a death to you.
Listen, dude. Free speech is listen. If you go out and protest, I don't care what you say, but you're participating in a public forum. You're participating in society. What's scarier to me is that there are people that are isolated and alone and not doing that. It's scary to me that kids aren't getting laid as much.
That's something I can't pull over.
At least
Oh
if you're
shit!
going out, they're not
Son of a
getting laid
bitch.
as much as having sex.
Oh, they get laid right after the end of the rally because they're so emotional.
No, they don't. No.
Oh my god, am I getting away? Did I get away?
Having sex as much.
Did I make it?
That's scary to me.
I don't think so.
Because if you go out and have sex, you're
Where is
like
Where is it?
saying, "Oh, I'm
That
part
way.
of a society, and if I meet someone,
I got
and
away.
they want to have sex with me, I can have sex with them."
You know, in talking
They're
about
really like
Yo,
weird and
my
lonely
blood
these
pressure.
days. That's the weird thing, and the
they
concerning
definitely
thing
have
to
a
me.
lot of emotional problems. That's for sure. They have a lot of anger. They're bitter. They're lost. They don't know what they want to do in life.
Maybe the world seems
Oh, this is
crappy
it.
to
It's
them.
really dark.
Maybe.
I mean,
but
when I was a kid, I grew up in the '90s, right? And the world was awesome because everyone was like, "This is the
close
best
by.
year ever."
Oh, that's him.
And
With the
next year
bats.
is going to be the best year ever, right? And it was all my friends.
I was gonna try and juke him.
Parents drove Hummers. People my friends' moms were getting boob jobs. It was a fantastic time.
Amazing.
You like that one? You like that? And then there came a point growing up.
Let me ask you
where
this.
people. What?
Let me ask you this because of time.
What's up?
Are you a liberal Jew or a conservative Jew?
No, I'm not a liberal. For sure not.
Are you a conservative?
No.
Do you participate
Fuck, he's
in
close by.
politics at all?
Oh, fuck, he's right there.
I don't know. I mean, what do you mean participate? Like voting?
Yeah.
I mean, I have voted. Yeah, sure. In the past. Yeah.
You're not sure if
Son
you
of a
voted or not?
bitch.
I have.
And we
I
got
have
stuck
voted,
there.
Yeah, for sure.
And did you
But
vote
it's
for?
like,
Did
but
you?
I live in New
Hijo
York,
de
right?
su
So like, what's
madre.
the point of voting? Because like
Oh
Kamala's gonna
my
win by
God.
like a bunch. So it's kind of
We'll
your
get out
vote
of the
doesn't
way.
really matter unless you're in a swing
Oh
state,
shit.
right?
Did you
It's
vote
kind
for?
of not a
Did you vote for the Great White Hope?
for who?
The Great
Trump's?
The Great White Hope.
Who's that? Trump's?
Yeah. Who else?
Donald? No, I didn't vote for him. It must have felt great though to vote for Donald.
You did not
It
vote
must
for
have
the.
felt awesome.
Are you serious? You did not vote for the Great White Hope.
Yeah, I'm serious.
And why not?
Yeah, but what, like, I don't know. I didn't want to.
And why not?
Oops, that's the volume.
You vote for the Great White Hope.
Great White.
For who?
Hope.
The Great
Trump's?
The Great White Hope.
Who's that? Trump's?
Yeah, who else?
Donald? No, I didn't vote for him. It must have felt great though to vote for Donald.
You did not
It
vote
must
for
have
the.
felt awesome.
Are you serious? You did not vote for the Great White Hope.
Yeah, I'm serious.
And why not?
Yeah, but what, like, I don't know. I didn't want to.
And why not?
I don't know. What? Like I didn't.
I have to go feed the dogs real quick. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in like 5 minutes.